We are the rolling.
Okay.
Really, honestly, the most important thing that people need to know about today is that they'll see this tomorrow.
Yeah.
But Monday, September 13th, Josh's birthday.
It's true. It is officially.
You ready? That's your cue, Brody. Happy birthday, Josh!
You guys had a
Happy birthday! Yay! Yay! Okay. So I know how old you are. So I backtracked to the year you were born.
Yeah.
And have some amazing information for you that you probably
I'm
don't
very
know.
excited to hear
Not
about.
only were you born on this day in 1980.
1980.
Did I do my math
This segment really falls apart if that was incorrect. But yes, that is right.
So the top movie.
Yeah.
Any idea what it was this day in 1980? Probably not.
No.
Smokey and the Bandit.
I was really young.
2.
Oh.
Smokey
Not number 1.
2, not number 1.
Okay.
I haven't, which I haven't seen either, so I can't. Or maybe there's more than 2. I don't know. But
I don't know.
We'll just assume it was good because it was number 1 at the box office.
Must have been great.
It must have been awesome.
Or a slow movie time.
True. Do you know what your age is in dog years at this point?
I don't.
Okay.
I'm not a big dog. I'm not a dog owner. I guess I like dogs, as animals.
I try not to hold that against you, but yes, I do know this about you.
Yeah.
So, this is very interesting. This is based on the pug breed.
Okay. Well, I think everybody knows it's a very average breed.
Okay. Based on the pug breed, you are 180 in dog years.
Oh, wow. That's a good round number.
Yes.
I feel really good. It's like Noah numbers, kind of like we're getting into. That's good. I feel very Old Testament at this point.
Yeah, that was my goal, is to make you feel Old Testament on your birthday. I feel like that's a good thing.
Feeling anything old is good on a birthday.
For sure.
That's helpful, yeah.
Do you have any idea how, based on an 8-hour night of sleep, which I never get?
Very unlikely.
I don't know if you do.
Couldn't tell you the last time.
But based on getting 8 hours a night, do you have any idea how many days or years you've spent sleeping? Let's start with days. How many days of your life have you spent sleeping up to this point?
I have no idea.
No one to guess?
Like 1,200.
4,992.
Wow.
So maybe since
so
you
much
don't
time.
sleep 8 hours a night, maybe
it
closer
is.
to 1,200.
If it's 1,200, I don't think I'd be here today. But yeah.
Years spent sleeping, 13.67 years.
Wow. That's a pretty high percentage.
Yeah. I feel like they should deduct that from your age. So you would actually be 28.
That's fair.
At this point.
We should just do age by a lot, like awake hours.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm going to submit a request for that.
I could be under 30.
Find out where I need to send that email. Will you, Brody?
I'm on it.
Okay.
Okay.
So according to this, again, 33% of your life has been spent sleeping.
Okay.
Again, based on those 8 hours.
It feels sad, but also, I guess, necessary.
Yeah, I mean right. It's kind of unavoidable. Yeah. All right. 2 more things for you. In the U.S., the most popular baby names for a girl and a boy. Can you guess what they were this day?
In 1980? Mm-hmm. I feel like Josh might have been up there. It wasn't, though.
No.
Because I've always had so many Joshes in my class, like growing up.
So think about, what was a girl name that you heard a lot in school?
Emily.
Okay.
Was one. Elizabeth. Jennifer.
That's the one.
You know what?
You're married to one.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's crazy. That's my wife's name. That's wild.
You're married to one. And for boys, it was Michael, which that was a little surprising to me.
I knew a lot of Michaels, I guess. That's true. A lot of Jonathans, too. Mm-hmm. But there was a lot of Joshes. I always had to be Josh K.
I know.
I was a lifetime of Josh K.
That was not an issue for me.
Did you have a lot of Joanna H's?
No. Well, I had a different last name at that point. But yes, I never did have to use that last initial. All right, last thing I've got for you, if you haven't seen on my laptop.
I haven't looked on the laptop.
Any idea the artist or the song that was number 1 on this day in 1980?
I don't. I'm pretty excited, though.
Okay. It was Diana Ross.
Okay.
I'm going to play it for you. I've got it queued up right here.
Okay. Well, I'm sure that...
You recognize it yet?
No.
Respectfully, I say to thee. You have to recognize those lyrics for the brilliance that they are. You ready?
I feel like you're really excited about this, so I'm excited that you're excited about it. So we're gonna just go with that.
So as a newborn infant, you did not know that was the number 1 song?
I don't know that we did a lot of that radio vibe when I was young. Maybe that was it.
Yeah.
If we maybe went with like the more of the gospel, Southern gospel songs, maybe. Or...
I didn't look up the number one Southern gospel song. Okay. We're gonna go with Beulah Land. I think that's a safe bet.
Yeah, I think we just had that. So yeah.
All right,
that's great.
There you go. Consider your birthday celebrated.
Man, I feel.
Oh no! I have one more thing for you.
And informed. I feel very celebrated, very informed. Oh man, cream soda Dr. Peppers. I'm telling you guys, this is the best of all the worlds.
You may or may not have mentioned several hundred times that you.
It's got so many flavors. Not only do you have all of the Dr. Pepper flavors, but now you also have all the cream soda flavors.
But now...
Dr. Pepper cream soda.
Sponsor us, please.
Please. Who owns Dr. Pepper?
But also know that you're like no or low carbing it. So this may be a bad idea, and if it is, I apologize.
Yeah, there are no calories on a birthday, so that's the good news.
Excellent. So I expect you to just chug all those before the end of the day.
I probably won't do that.
Maybe wash down your pumpkin donuts with it.
I did actually have pumpkin spice donuts yesterday. Yeah.
That is my husband, Ken, who you know.
I do know.
Most of them may not.
He's got a beard.
He has an impressive beard, if I may say so. But that is his absolute favorite. Like, he will not eat donuts year round.
Right.
But when the pumpkin spice donut hits the scene, he is just like...
I really like them.
All about it.
I made some. I can make donuts in the house. I do that sometimes. But they were kind of rubbery.
Ooh.
So I'm not sure what happened.
That's
the top was good.
Terrible descriptor for a donut.
Yeah. If you cut the top off and just ate the top half that didn't touch the pan was made of rubbery. So I don't know. I'll work on it.
You might want to tweak that a little bit.
I'll bring him some. I'll just do tops.
Okay.
There's donut holes, but nobody does donut tops.
Yeah, they do the muffin tops.
That's true. So this will be a new thing. But they are pretty rubbery if you eat the bottom. It's kind of gross.
All right.
Not sure if you're going to finish chewing them or not. You just kind of got to dig in.
Chew it like gum.
Yeah.
Kind of just...
Yeah, actually.
That really does sound gross, doesn't it?
I don't think I like donuts anymore, so I guess we're done with that.
All right.
But yeah, my wife actually had to go to like 4 different places to find me some. She's really nice.
Oh, that was nice of her.
She's a really nice
Did she do that for your birthday, or just that was nice?
She was. She wanted to have something special, so I should have picked something easier, like lunch meat. Because you can always buy that.
You really should have. You know what I want? I really just want a tub of like Oscar Mayer turkey.
Did you ever eat that lunch meat that had the cheese in it? That was like square and it had little specks of cheese in it?
The liverwurst?
No, it wasn't liverwurst. It was like Oscar Mayer lunch meat with cheese in it.
No,
that probably wasn't.
I can vaguely picture it. It sounds horrific.
Yeah, I kind of want to eat it again though, just to like childhood memory.
Just to see how skewed your perception was at that age.
But I really liked it. So
what kind of meat was it?
Ham. I'm pretty sure.
You wouldn't say that on the box. Ham and cheese.
Have you ever noticed it's like a cheese product? Yeah, I think it was a ham product, meaning we don't know really either. So we're just going to put ham.
All right. Well, I'll remember that for your next birthday. I've got a year to figure out what you're talking about and to acquire it.
Yeah. Next year we'll just sit here and eat a ham and speckled cheese sandwich. It'll be really good.
It's a little early for that.
Yeah.
A little early.
They had cheese hot dogs too.
All right, my eyes are tearing up a little bit, which means that you're actually really kind of grossing me out.
You're kind of glazing up. All right, well, in that case, hey, there's other things we could talk about.
Let's talk about the sermon yesterday.
Let's do. On a sermon recap, that's always a good direction to head. I thought it went. I thought it went okay. It's always so hard to know. Sermon preparation is one of those things. Mm-hmm. One of the challenges I think we have is that it is like really theological. There's so much doctrine that's present. There's so many elements that need further explanation, and that's just how the nature of a lot of Paul's letters are. That first half is a lot of theology, and then you get the practice in the back half, and that's really helpful. So the challenge this week was really to make sure that we knew what to do with that theological knowledge,
right?
And not just stay there where you think, all right, you've told me what I know, like I understand these verses. What do I do with it?
So now what, right?
And that now what I think was really important. I also think that this is just one of those areas where you can't really go deep enough. Like trying to understand God's grace, trying to understand that it is not of your own work. You did nothing to earn it. It is by grace totally. And these are great reminders. And so in a lot of ways, it's just reminders of where we stand with God. And I feel like in different phases of life, as things happen, we can get a little loose on those. Not that we don't believe them, but the way we feel those. You know, when we start to think, well, I wonder if God is mad at me because things aren't going well, or if I wonder, and just to remind ourselves of all that God has already done and is doing.
Right.
That to me is a really helpful thing to understand, and like the idea of a new creation. You know, there's so many times we feel like we're falling back into old ways, or we're just not. We don't feel very new. We feel like we ought to be further along the path, but to remember that you are a new creation. Like God has done something in you that is spiritually miraculous. Like He has made you new. He's made you alive. And that's your identity. And so walking in that identity, I think, gives you the strength to keep going through those trials, but also keep a firmer understanding of who you are, you know, in mercy and forgiveness and all of that.
Right. It really is so important to understand that. Like we talked about this a couple weeks ago. We took a break, of course, last week because of Labor Day, but it's just understanding who you are and who God is and who you are in Christ and how all of that works together. I wish I had made a note of who wrote this post that I saw yesterday. So it happens to be somebody that's watching. I honestly can't remember if it was like somebody I knew or somebody that's just like, you know, a famous person somewhere. But they brought up a really good point that I think might be an interesting one for you to talk about in relation to your sermon yesterday. And that is, they see a lot of people posting in recent days, if you're a Christian, then.
You're right.
And then they go on to say what that person should or should not be doing to validate their Christianity, to prove their Christianity. And I thought that was a really good, because, you know, and we may not necessarily want to get into what specific, this person was specifically talking about all things COVID, mask. We know there's a lot of debate on that. We won't get into all that, but
please don't.
No. Based on this passage, the worst news, the good news, understanding God's grace. And how to apply that. Like you said, now what do I do with it? What's something that you would say to someone who is inclined to make posts or declarations like that?
Well, assuming that there's a level
by the way, you can pass on a question. Especially on your birthday.
No, it feels, thank you. What a gift. No, I think, listen, number one, you have to let's assume that they're reasonable. Like a lot of that doesn't. A lot of these posts don't come from people who are looking for conversation. But let's say we've miraculously found someone who is.
And let's also say that you have a relationship with that person, right?
Yeah, that
because
would help.
To argue with a stranger most of the time, not profitable at all.
No, there's a lot of times where I think I should post something or I should respond, and I think it's kind of pointless. But in this response, here's what I would say. I think, number one, we don't want to add to Scripture. We don't want to add to, I mean, that's what the Pharisees that Jesus criticized, what the religious leaders in the Old Testament that the prophets criticized, where they were adding burdens to people, saying, if you really want to honor God, you have to do this too. You know, and they just kept adding all of this stuff. And my response really would be, if you're a person who's concerned about it, let's say we're like, well, I don't know, am I a Christian if I don't believe this certain way? You know, if I don't have this political worldview, or this economic worldview, or this medical worldview, I would say it goes back to really trying to just grow in the virtue and grow in the fruit of the Spirit, you know, and evaluate yourself on that level, and then just pray that God would give you the wisdom in that. You know, I mean, are you growing? Love, I hate this, but love has become a weaponized word.
Yes.
So I don't even know that we should be able to use love, but maybe you have to like wait on love and move to some of the other identifiers, like, are you patient? Are you kind? You know, there's kindness that even comes if you're correcting people. So that has to happen. Are you self-serving, or are you sacrificing, you know, for the good of the other person? Do you have compassion? And I think that if we would spend more time focusing on virtue and being more like Christ's character versus what we think he would say about a political issue or what we think he would say, which is all conjecture.
Right.
If we would focus on being like him, then we wouldn't have nearly as many problems. Because even if you disagree with somebody, you do it with kindness, or you do it with truth, but with love, with like biblical sacrificial love. And if you're a person who's inclined to say, well, I don't know if this person's a Christian if they don't believe exactly like I believe. One, I think you need to figure out where did you get that worldview, and where did you, we didn't learn things in a bubble. You were told this, you were influenced by this. What has discipled you into that worldview? Did you hit an algorithm on YouTube and it just kept confirming all of the biases that you hit, which is a very real thing? Do you have friends that you're hanging out with that just that's all they talk about, and as soon as I see them, that's what we're going to talk about, and you've been, and maybe it's just a passion project of your own, but I think there is the virtue of humility goes so far in the Christian life.
Yes.
It is one of the defining characteristics of Jesus. It is not, unfortunately, one of the defining characteristics of so much of the Christian culture now. We've moved into kind of this warrior mentality, which does not lend itself to humility, because that's how you might feel like if you're meek, you might get beat. So you got to be overly aggressive.
Right.
But embracing humility and saying, this is how I feel. This is what the information says. This is how I want to live my life. It's not on doctrinal things, but on things like masks or things like that. Just saying, this is my conviction. I've thought about it. And then saying, look, not everybody may share my opinion, and that's okay. Those kind of things, I think that's where that virtue of humility would make a huge difference in everything.
Yeah.
But we just don't seem to value that. We don't seem to push or promote that.
Well, and part of humility, I think, too, is understanding that sometimes, everybody says, well, your opinion matters. My opinion on that is to really get confusing, that your opinion actually doesn't always matter.
That's right.
Like you do,
Yeah.
And if you do have that conviction and that is what you're operating out of, you don't necessarily have to put that out there. I mean, I think that's a lot of what we're seeing on social media, is that so many people feel like people really, they want and need to know what I think about this.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be militant, if you're going to be a warrior for something, make sure it is for the things of God.
That's right.
And not for some cause that, honestly, some people may find out later on, I was on the wrong side of that. And now I've got to, if I really am operating in a Christ-like manner, I need to go back to some people and say, hey, I'm sorry that I put that out there as truth or as something that should determine the way you're living your life.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, here's two things I would say. That one, remember that people are watching all the time. And the way that we interact with one another as Christians, biblically, it's actually a biblical example that John uses. People will know us by our love for one another. If that doesn't seem to exist, then they know us, but they don't know Jesus through us.
Right.
And the fact that they know us is a deficit. It's a problem. And that's a mess. I mean, I think the way that we engage with one another, the way we engage with the world, we're giving a lot of people reasons not to believe that message of love, that message of grace, that message of mercy. Like, if we can't demonstrate mercy and humility and love towards one another, then why would they expect to receive that from the Christian community if they enter into it? And why would they expect it from the God that we say we're following? So if we're following Jesus and that's the one we see, that's not one people are going to gravitate towards.
Well, and they experience that from the world on a daily basis.
Right.
Like, why would they want to set aside time once or twice a week to do that just in a different setting?
Yeah, I'm not looking for two fights. I got enough with one. That actually connects to that second thing, and that is this. In our passage, we're told, in Ephesians 2, 1 through 10, that whole first part talks about how there's the course of this world, there's the prince of the power of the air, the spirit now that work in the sons of disobedience, passions of the flesh that are carrying out desires of the body and the mind. All of that. Now, while that is not true of the person who is made alive in Christ, it is still the environment that we live in outside of our gatherings with the church and with other believers. So you have to, again, have that humility that says, you know what, I wonder what parts of my worldview, what parts of my behavior are still being affected by this fallen world. And that's again just this idea that, I might be wrong.
Right.
I might be off. I might not have a full understanding, or I might not know how to express myself well. And so maybe I'll just hold my opinion down,
right,
and all of that. But
and understand the impact that the culture that we've grown up in has on all of that as well. I was talking to somebody the other day. I think everybody should just have to live in a third world country for an extended period of time. I mean, just to really, they say that travel will really open your eye. I mean, to see that the way you have always thought about some things is not necessarily the way the entire world thinks about them. What really matters is what God says about them.
That's right.
But it can really help you get out of that, like, oh, well, I always thought, but now I see that these Christians in this country, again, as biblical as what you're going for, but it can kind of help you get out of like a mindset that you never even knew really you were confined by.
That's right. Yeah, and I think I don't think this is controversial, which means it's always possibly controversial.
You can edit this part out, right, Brody?
Yeah, but we in America, particularly in Southern Christianity, we hold two views that are actually not able to be held simultaneously. One, that we're in a Christian culture, and that the culture should be Christian, and two, that the world is a really bad place. So what happens is we are disappointed when things don't work out, and they don't feel like they're Christian enough. But we also are quick to condemn, well, that's the world, it's bad, all of these things are broken. And I think we have this kind of weird love-hate relationship with our world, and usually it's whatever serves our own purposes. If we confirm that it's a good world, if the good world gives us good things, or if we want to do something in it.
Or agrees with us.
Or it's a bad world if it doesn't. And we really need to just remember the Bible says that the world is really broken. And if we need a mission, it's to enter that brokenness, bring light to the darkness, to be examples of hope, to be examples of care. There are a lot of articles about how civility and kindness has gone out the window in our culture. A lot of it after COVID. It's like waiters and people will tell you that people are significantly ruder now than they were before COVID.
And that's so interesting to me because I felt like there was a chance that we were all going to come out of that time last year where all the kids were at home for school, and has it been over a year ago? I don't know.
Year and a half.
I can't.
Time flies when
I haven't had COVID and I have the COVID fog. But I really thought there was a chance, like, we're going to come out of this with our priorities more what they should be and treating people more kindly and things like that. And it's interesting to me that some of us have gone the other way with that. Yeah,
that's what it feels. Yeah, I was really hopeful. What it tells you is that the patterns of this world are much stronger than you thought they were. And not just the patterns of busyness, but the patterns of priorities, the patterns of self-serving, all of those. Like, it is confirming the scripture right there. Because I thought people would lower their activities and they would do more family time together. But it was like as soon as there was any kind of green light, it was like go,
bust it out. We have,
and even our own family, there's just so much you got to do. You got school, you got activities, you have church things, you have all this stuff, and a lot of it's good, but it certainly went back. But then when it comes to the kindness and all of that, it was neat to see things come together. But if that's your hope for this world, then that is going to be really disappointing.
Right.
And we'll talk about this next week or on Sunday, is the only hope for that to happen, good segue here, the only hope for that to happen is through the church,
right?
Through other believers. And that is what God is doing. So what we talked about Sunday is the miracle on the individual that God has done something incredibly big in your life, fundamentally changed your identity, who you are, death to life. And now what we'll switch to is this corporate idea. So we're going to move to, not only did he do that individually, he did it corporately. He is building a body, building a congregation, a church that is also transformed and made possible when it was impossible. So I'm excited to talk through
I'll look forward to that.
We'll talk through what does it mean to be the church, what does it mean to be how to live that out and what we're looking to do. So
great.
Yeah.
Great. I'm really enjoying the series. I know a lot of people are too. You said you got some great feedback yesterday.
Yeah,
had some good conversations.
I think the ability to walk through Scripture and see it progress is going to be really helpful. At the end of the series, I think it can be a really helpful thing. So if you're reading ahead, Ephesians 2, the rest of the chapter is what we'll be dealing with, and I would love for you to read that, come up with some questions. Always open for questions. You know, even if you put them in the comments or whatever that might be, that can be really helpful. So
yeah. So, couple reminders before we sign off. First of all, again, Monday, September 13th, Pastor Josh's birthday. So, if you're seeing this on Tuesday and you did not know, he loves belated we birthday wishes,
birthday week,
gifts.
I think we need to make birthday week a thing.
Okay.
And you get to pick when it starts.
Hey, Brody, I said birthday. That was your cue to the balloons.
It's okay. They're really far away from him now.
Yeah, it's like he...
That did not even make it in the camp. There it is. There it is.
Excellent. Okay, great job.
Yeah, that was.
I
really
feel
good.
like the production value is just is skyrocketing week to week. Really,
honestly,
if
this
I'm
is
being honest.
only week 2, and we already have special.
We already
effects.
have balloons.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't imagine what week 3 has in store.
So, first question: is it too late for people to sign up for the membership class this Sunday night? Okay.
It will be by Thursday, but
okay.
since this is on a Tuesday, being recorded on a Monday, it's not too late.
TCAOT.org, TCAOT.org/membership will take you directly to the sign-up form for that. And even then, you said after Thursday, people are welcome to come. They just need to bring their own meal.
That's right. Yeah. The only reason we cut it off is because we have to order the food on Thursday.
Right.
So that is helpful.
Do we know what we're eating?
I'm sure it'll be Jason's Deli again.
Okay.
It was good. They got good chicken salad. So.
Okay, great. And then is Fall Fest the next thing we need to talk about?
Yeah, Fall Fest is coming up. That is the 24th of October. So it's that Sunday from 3 to 6. Fall Fest is going to be great. Mm-hmm. We have inflatables. We have cotton candy. We just have all kinds of stuff. Food trucks. Yeah. We're working on all of that. It's going to be a blast. So trunk or treat, a lot of ways. So if you're a church member, there is something for everybody to participate in. Mm-hmm. And the point of this is to connect with our community.
Yes.
And also the bonus effect is we get to serve together. Mm-hmm. There's something about being tightly knitted together through service.
Right.
And this will be an opportunity for us to do that. But I'm anticipating some great gospel conversations. You know, the church is 3 months old. Mm-hmm. People still don't know about it, or they don't know what it is.
Right.
You know? Some of that's because we let the flowers grow over the sign, so it just says the church, and they're like, "Well, that's cool."
They know it's a church, and the flowers are really pretty.
They are very pretty. They did a great job. But
they did, yeah.
We may move them over.
We may make some adjustments. Yeah.
But that's exciting.
It is.
But there's a lot of people in our community who don't know what it looks like, don't know what it's like. So this is a great chance for us to say, yeah, we do have a student ministry program. Yeah, our kids love it here. They have a great time. And, you know, probably the biggest problem we're going to have is there's going to be a lot of people. And, that's great.
So we need to mark your calendars. Yeah. Also know that tcaot.org/calendar has a list of events that are coming up and any pertinent links. There are no links for Fall Fest to sign up to volunteer yet, but there will be soon.
Yeah, working on that this week.
And I will be creating an event for Facebook.
Oh, yeah,
so you guys can use that to share and invite people around the community.
Yeah.
And then is it a good idea for them to go ahead and start donating candy?
It's always a good idea.
I think so as well.
Sooner than later.
Individually wrapped. Preferably not chocolate because it's melty.
Chocolate gets melty. We're doing it from 3 to 6, so it'll be pretty hot and sunny. So it would be better not to be that. And you know, if we could avoid peanut elements as well, it's just
allergies.
Good. You know, we'll tell people we can't really make that. But
I know we don't have receptacles yet. Maybe we will by this Sunday. Even if we don't, bring it. Put it in the lobby. We'll know what it's for, and we'll collect it.
We'll have a gathering spot.
But we're anticipating needing a lot of candy.
Yeah, a lot of candy.
Yes.
Yeah, even if you're planning to do a trunk or treat, we don't want you to have to bring all your own candy. We want to be able to provide that for you. I have no idea how many people will come, but I know that there's going to be a lot.
So chance is going to be a lot,
You know, 10,000 people come to the Buck Creek Festival. Mm-hmm. So I don't know that we'll hit 10,000, but we will have a lot. And we want everybody to leave with the full bag of candy. So it'll be great.
Okay, and then lastly, we need to wrap up. What do we need to know about the Buck Creek Festival and our church's involvement?
I'm still working on that.
Okay.
I haven't heard back yet for all the details.
Okay.
So once I have all those details, you'll have all those details.
Okay. So. Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. Yeah, a little mystery mixed into the show here. So,
intrigue.
I know.
Come back next week, guys, for more information on the Buck Creek Festival.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Okay, so this is like an exciting mystery podcast now. I'm really getting into this.
We need a spinoff already.
All right, so one last time, Brody. Happy birthday, Josh.
I think we're out of balloons at this point.
He's really struggling.
Yes, okay. We need to get maybe some wireless headphones so he's more mobile. But it was great. All right, well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Appreciate your time, and I hope this was a helpful conversation.
Yeah, see you at midweek. Bye.